In the last chapter, we have already discussed the two body problem to determine the nature of nuclear force. Now, to explore more properties of nuclear force, we would like to discuss nuclear nucleon scattering experiments. To discuss the nuclear nucleon scattering experiments, we must know what is nuclear cross section, rather specifically scattering cross section, scattering differential cross section, etc. So let us first, we would like to discuss what is nuclear cross section. The probability of a nuclear reaction can be defined in terms of the number of particles emitted for a specified number of incident particles. It is usually expressed in terms of an effective area a target nucleus presents to the incident particles for undergoing the nuclear process. In scattering experiments, actually, we take a target and that target is bombarded by a, a beam of particles. Those particles may be neutrons and maybe protons. Now, when a beam of particles, that is nucleons, bombarded at a target, then there are various possibilities. What is happening? That process, the probability of that process is defined by nuclear cross section. So a target nucleus presents a certain area to the incident particle. That certain area for a particular process represents nuclear cross section. The probability of a nuclear process is then just equal to the probability that the incident particle strikes within this effective area. Thus, the probability of occurrence of a particular nuclear reaction is described by the effective cross section for that process. जैसा हम जानते हैं कि स्कैटरिंग प्रोसेस में जो टारगेट न्यूक्लियाई है वो अपना जितना एरिया प्रपोज करता है, एक्सपोज करता है किसी इनकमिंग बम्बार्डिंग पार्टिकल को, उसे हम न्यूक्लियर क्रॉस सेक्शन उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस के लिए डिफाइन कर सकते हैं. बट बेसिकली इट्स अ वेरी क्रूड way of defining the nuclear cross section. This cross section may also be defined as, in another way, the probability that an event may occur when a single nucleus is exposed to a beam of particles of total flux 1 particle per unit area per second. Cross section for a particular nuclear reaction can also be defined by the following relation. Sigma is equal to, sigma here signify the nuclear cross section for a particular process, and it is equal to the ratio of number of given type of events per unit time per nucleus divided by number of projectile particles per unit area per unit time. Now, as I have discussed that there are various types of nuclear cross sections. Here, let us discuss one by one. First is the total nuclear cross section, rather I should say total nuclear interaction cross section. What does it mean? This is the effective area possessed by a nucleus for removing the incident particles from a collimated beam by all possible processes. As we know that when a target is bombarded by a beam of particles, then there are various possibilities. Some of the particles may be scattered, some may be absorbed, and even after absorption, there may be various possibilities inside the nucleus. So each process has a certain cross section. Now, the total nuclear cross section means the cross section which is equal to the cross sections of all nuclear processes. Now, let us define what is partial cross section. The total cross section as defined above shall be composed of the sum of several partial cross sections which represent the partial contributions of various distinct independent processes by which particles can be removed from the incident beam. तो अगर कोई टारगेट हमने लिया है जिसमें बहुत सारे न्यूक्लियार्ड्स हैं और उसको अगर हम किसी बीम ऑफ पार्टिकल से बम्बार्ड करते हैं तो ये काफ़ी प्रोबेबिलिटी होती है कि उनमें से कुछ न्यूक्लियॉन्स स्कैटर्ड हो जाएं, कुछ न्यूक्लियॉन्स टारगेट के द्वारा एब्जॉर्ब हो जाएं। वो जो न्यूक्लियॉन्स एब्जॉर्ब होते हैं उनमें भी फिर अलग अलग प्रोसेसेस की पॉसिबिलिटी होती है। तो हर प्रोसेस की जो प्रोबेबिलिटी है उसको हम पार्शियल क्रॉस सेक्शन से डिफ़ाइन करते हैं, और अगर इन सभी पार्शियल क्रॉस सेक्शंस को हम ऐड कर देते हैं तो हमें मिलता है टोटल न्यूक्लियर क्रॉस सेक्शन और टोटल न्यूक्लियर इंटरेक्शन क्रॉस सेक्शन, which is here represented by sigma t, and it may be written as the sum of sigma sc plus sigma e plus there may be several sigmas. Now here sigma sc represents the scattering cross section and sigma a absorption cross section, which again is a sum of sigma r1 plus sigma r2 plus sigma r3, which represents cross sections for different reactions or different nuclear processes. Now this is a diagram by which we can explain the differential cross section. We would like to differentiate between the total cross section and the differential cross section. Now this circle represents an area proposed by a target nucleus, so which is shown here by sigma. So this sigma represents basically the total cross section for a particular nuclear process. Now if a bombarding nuclei strike this area at a particular point, which is shown here by a small circle and is shown by d sigma theta phi, then there is a possibility that the bombarding particle will be scattered within a certain solid angle d omega at an scattering angle theta. So differential cross section basically expresses the angular distribution of the outgoing particles. That is the cross section which defines a distribution of emitted particles with respect to the solid angle. This is called differential cross section. It is defined as d sigma theta is equal to sigma theta into d phi. As we know that the total cross section, in particularly if we discuss a scattering process, then the total scattering cross section sigma sc determines how many particles are scattered from a beam in passing through a target of a given material. Above analysis, however, gives no information about the directions of the scattered particles. Now to study this, we introduce the concept of differential cross section, or particularly differential scattering cross section. So if differential cross section is given by the relation d sigma theta is equal to sigma theta d omega, then we can find out the total cross section, total partial cross section for a scattering process. Basically, this is not a total nuclear interaction cross section. This is actually total scattering cross section because it represents the cross section for a particular process, that is scattering process. And this total scattering cross section can be represented by integral d sigma theta equal to integral sigma theta phi d omega. To derive this relation, a monoenergetic beam of particles of well-defined energy is assumed to impinge on a target. The flux F of the incident beam is defined as the number of particles crossing a unit area perpendicular to the beam per unit time. Now this is a diagram where we have a target shown by broad vertical line, and then there are arrows which are showing the bombarding particles, or I should say nucleons. This beam is having a flux F. Now these particles say scattered in different directions. Different direction means in all directions in 360 degrees. We are considering a particular beam, a particular particle, which is scattered in a solid angle d omega at an scattering angle theta. And this particle is detected by a detector which is placed at a scattering angle theta. Now, if the beam is uniform and contains Ni particles per unit volume, moving with velocity v with respect to the stationary target, the flux is given by F is equal to NIV. Flux again can be defined in a very simple way. Number of particles passing through per unit area per unit time, or number of particles per unit volume of the beam moving with velocity v. A beam of neutrons in z direction can be considered as a plane wave of unit amplitude and can be expressed as psi incident is equal to e raised to power I k z. This is a relation for incident beam where k is a wave number equal to 1 upon lambda and equal to mn small v upon h cross, where mn is the mass of neutron. Here v is the velocity of neutrons which are bombarding on a particular target. The probability of scattering in a direction theta will be given by a spherical wave which will be scattered in various directions from the center of collision. It can be given by again psi sc nearly equal to e raised to power I k r upon r multiplied by f theta, where f theta is the amplitude of the wave and depends upon theta and k and scattering function of collision. The volume of the spherical shell within the radius r and r plus dr is given by 4 pi r square into dr, and density of particles in the shell will be proportional to 1 upon r square, which is given by modulus of psi sc whole square. Hence psi sc is proportional to 1 upon r. So the incident flux can be written as modulus of e raised to power I k z whole square into v. This will give us the value v because the modulus of e raised to power I k z square will be equal to 1. We know that flux density is equal to modulus of psi incident whole square. Again, the scattered flux over an area ds is equal to modulus of f theta e raised to power I k r upon r whole square multiplied by ds into v. So when we solve it, we will get modulus of f theta square into d omega into v. We know that differential scattering cross section d sigma is equal to scattered flux within d omega divided by incident flux. So if we put these above two values in this relation, then we will get d sigma is equal to modulus of f theta square d omega. This is the relation for differential scattering cross section when a beam of neutrons, or for that matter a beam of any nucleon or particles, when incident on a target. Total scattering cross section now can be written as sigma is equal to integral of differential scattering cross section, which will be equal to integral sigma theta d omega, and if we divide and multiply it again by d omega, that is solid angle, then we will get total scattering cross section is equal to integral modulus of f theta square d omega, or it will be equal to, since integral of d omega is equal to 4 pi, so we will get v phi multiplied by f theta whole square. This is the relation, that is sigma is equal to 4 pi modulus of f theta square, which we will use in the topics which we will discuss in the next videos for discussing neutron-neutron scattering, proton-proton scattering, and particularly the neutron-proton scattering to determine the characteristics of nuclear force. Thank you.